Morning, everybody. I'm currently waiting on George to come online. He's just now finishing his room prep, but I want to thank everybody for being here on a Friday, first Friday of June. Hopefully, the market gives us some good action today, and we will be along with you shortly.
It's Friday.
Good morning, George. How you doing?
Morning, sir. You all settled?
Yep, I think we're. I am on the road, everybody. So if there's any technical glitches, I apologize for that. But I think we're streaming and got several viewers
Awesome.
online. So here we.
Morning, Big Chief, Dennis, SPX, Jonesy, you guys. All right. Well, let's go through this. We'll start here with the NQ since we're already basically approaching targets. So we got first target coming up here. It's kind of started up in the pre-market right here at 30,014. And then just slightly below that at 30,004, we do have a hurdle that we need to overcome if we're going to see much more. So given that we're already deep in the move here and we're, again, quite nearly at target.
May want to have a little patience this morning, see if we can get some kind of a bounce, or it could give us some additional, preferably better entry. So that's the NQ from just like here in this moment. If we can push through, obviously we're already into two series that are currently running at this moment. First target of the second series is back here at 935. So watch that again. We're pretty deep in the slide. So hitting it from here it's all just chasing at this moment. So be careful. ES very similar. We're smack dab in between targets 1 and 2 of the current scenario. We do have a rubber band coming up here around 75.39. So right here and now, everything between expected low and rubber band, watch for a potential bounce right in this zone because they're going to have to break through that pretty quickly at the start of the morning in order to get any further down. So ES is a little bit sparse on exact info here at the exact moment, other than what we have. We do have a pretty big decision point below us down here at 75.25. Actually, I think it's 75. Let me double check that number. Ah, 75.2475. That's the official number. Okay. And then there's a very big deal hurdle below that at 74.9875. So they're not giving much else in the way of target information on the ES here this morning. And again, hopefully we get some kind of a pullback and can capture some of this. Did you say something, Bob? Oh, okay.
Not on purpose, anyway.
Sounded like your sexy voice. All right. Did that get target? Oh, let's see. Almost a couple more points on the NQ, and we're going to be at first target. So again, here watching the beginning of the morning in the next few minutes, this will be a pretty critical space for both the NQ and the ES. So they're going to have to bring in some volume if they're going to want to push through here to start our morning off with. My kind of analysis here this morning is that hopefully we don't get much past expected low. I don't mind if they reach these targets, but hopefully don't get much past expected low. We get some kind of bounce, and then they give us some entry. Yeah. Speaking of entries, I forgot to mark it. Sorry. 152. So it's above us here. 152. This was the decision point from this morning. There. To get us into this current scenario. So that would be great. Let's see if it'll give us a bounce back there. That'll be lovely. But as always, keep in mind, if we get a blow through on the rubber band here on the ES, it will become the most aggressive. Now watch, because again, they're lined up here between rubber band and expected low. We're only talking a few points here. So don't be fooled by it. If we get just a blow through and it's just a quick wick down and up, careful, like get a real good solid candle close below the rubber band if you're going to take the most aggressive retest. And the thing you're targeting, of course, is just the next major decision point down. And I think we're past all the big news. Yep. I think that did do it. Let's see. Quite nearly. I think I missed it by like a point. So we basically reached first target. Very close. Okay. Give it like 30,014 is the actual target. So there we go. Okay. First target achieved on the NQ. Boom. And then the current has to hold above us. So this would be a much better entry if they are nice enough to give it to us. It's up here at 293. That would be much better. As for the ES, of course, we're just inside the current scenario. So nothing's going to change, and there's not going to be any more information posted here unless we exit this current scenario. All righty, here we go. Sorry, I'm not sure if I was muted there for a second. If I was, I'll just I'll repeat it anyway. The 152, use it as more of a nominal entry this morning on the NQ, with the has to hold as being the better, more conservative.
And for those new to the room, that would be a possible short entry. That's also indicated by the red arrow there.
Thank you. Of course, our hint here, if we don't get the climb up, is naturally coming back down and closing below the hurdle here. That's still still the issue. So naturally, if you took that hurdle long, then you should have gone in profit considerably. I don't think I talked about it. Did I talk about the point of interest?
Not yet.
Okay. Guys, don't worry about this so much. I just marked my chart with it for my own personal. It's more of, later today, probably later this afternoon. Are we above it or are we below it? I didn't want to forget that number. So that was really just for me. Now there is a really, really aggressive chasing entry on the NQ. It's at 30,061. So if you're up for a chasing entry, that's an option. Okay, that's that range I was talking about on the ES, exactly what we'd said. Watch to see if it just spikes to expected low. So watch, see if we recover above this rubber band quickly. If so, it may give us our bounce that I'm hoping for. All right, about it. Next target in the next series here, still 935. Yeah, that was definitely a challenge with the morning. We were already deep into the move, folks. So it would not a whole lot of a bounce, sadly.
While we're waiting on this thing to decide what it's going to do, for those that are joining us on YouTube, first of all, we appreciate you being here. Um, it's an opportunity to kind of showcase what we do here. I know a lot of these terms and drawings and stuff on the chart might look a little foreign to you. You know, what's this hurdle thing you're speaking of, and what are these bubbles that seem to be targets? In the description down below is a link to our free course. We have a video on pretty much, I think, each one of those topics. Again, it's free. There's no obligation. Just got to sign up for an account, and it'll let you in there. And you'll notice that George is not placing specific trades on the chart here. Our philosophy here is more teach the trader how to trade, and everybody trades a little differently. So some of the guys that like to trade that hurdle had a 100-point long right there at the open. Half the guys don't ever trade the hurdles, and that's fine. But that's why you're not specifically seeing a trade on the screen. But I know a lot of our guys do catch those, so it does look like we're getting a little bit of a move here finally. It's just went without us, didn't really pull back, and that happens sometimes.
Yep, it does. But to add into Bob's point, like just as a reference, the bubbles are targets. The targets are laid out by the market. We simply put them up on the screen. And then same is true of things like decision points. Like if on the ES here, if the market can prove that it can get through this decision point, then it will eventually create additional targets to the downside. But if or until, right? So it's kind of an obstacle that's in the way that has to be overcome. I think for the most part, and this is kind of true of anybody who's new to the room, even like a few days or week, it's really just to observe and see if the stuff that we put on the chart, the market has, reactions to. That's again, that's the job of somebody viewing. As you get into it, naturally, your job is to start to engage with the market. All right, almost target two of the second scenario. ES, of course, is still just in a sell off here, along with the NQ. All right, careful, of course, with the rubber band here coming up on the NQ, folks, only because we do have a secondary one down here at the the 773. I would caution you on that one. And again, for those tuning in for the first time, there's a lot of periods like this where there's nothing to talk about because we've already projected out where the market's going by way of the targets. Again, those are the bubbles. And we've already projected out where the decision points and hurdles and so forth are. So most traders, again, they come in with me and they have a trade plan put together. And what they're looking for, of course, are specific to really the same thing we're talking about. So lots of moments of silence, especially when the market is already doing exactly what it has already said that it's going to do.
I had had someone text me and say that the chart's delayed and they weren't sure if they were supposed to go long or short at the bubble. And my response was, your goal today is to observe. So
Yes.
I would not be trying to trade anything. You're just kind of seeing
Yes.
what we do here.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Basically do the bubbles get achieved? That's what your job is today. Just watch. If you're just here, did we put a target out there ahead of time by way of a bubble? And did the market get there? That's the best thing I can tell somebody who's just coming into this.
We do have a question. It says, what are you thinking with ES breaking below the decision point? So I think you were talking earlier that if it establishes down here, then there there could be more targets that might show up. So if you want to talk about that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Ideally, yeah. So make sure you're talking this one here. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, I think so.
75.25. Yeah. I mean, obviously we've already broken it, but at the same time, what I just wait for them to have more of a pullback and come into a bit of a range. So will they break it? I mean, they've already broken it. The real question is, are they going to break the hurdle below that?
And that chart's been pretty historical. If you look at April and May, I mean, there was very few down days. So, we're due for a little bit of a pullback. I think this is our third red day in a row. So it's kind of healthy for the market.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just see how far it goes.
Yep. Yeah. If you're in the room, you learn to get a lot of patience and you wait for your trade to show up.
Same question, or same user, they're saying, okay, so don't take the initial break, wait till the hurdle to get a pullback question.
Wait till the hurdle to get a pullback. So the hurdle is going to be the highest percentage likelihood that you're going to get a bounce from there. And then ideally, we're waiting to see if the market provides additional insight as to maybe they'll give actual targets inside that range. They haven't yet, not this morning.
And a lot of times you'll see, it'll make it to that hurdle. And then one of the plays, there's several different ways to play it, but one of the plays is a lot of times people will take the hurdle long back up to that decision point. Now this one's pretty wide, so yeah. Normally when we
exactly. You just wouldn't need to is the point. You take it for 5 or 10 points and just call it a day. All right, coming to that second rubber band here, folks, on the NQ.
And a lot of ways that people play the rubber bands is a counter trend trade. So we're coming down. That rubber band we just passed by, I wasn't even thinking about taking along there just because there was two kind of in the same vicinity. And when that happens, I usually wait to see what it does at the lower one.
Second one, yep.
Yep.
Yeah, because there's two scenarios. That's why they're attached via the bars. There's two scenarios at play right now that we had already projected that this is where the market was going to go this morning. Yeah, it just might be one of those days we just get the slide.
Now everybody can see George's drawings on the chart. One of the tools that we developed, we call it Chart Cast. So I want to say last time I looked at the stats, like 95% of the people that are in the room also subscribe to Chart Cast. But basically, for some of our guys who maybe work other jobs and they can't have the audio going, you can literally have these drawings being put on your chart. So wherever you're at, if George draws a bubble, it just, within about 10 seconds pops up on your chart. So it's a pretty cool piece of technology that I'm pretty sure we're the only ones offering something like that so far. So
Yeah, and over time, once you learn that, the story of the day and the targets and the hurdles and the rubber bands and so forth, you can do a pretty good job on your own at that point, just navigating where you, again, it's your trade plan that we help develop. But you know basically where your entries are going to be and where they're not going to be, when to just sit on your hands.
the other thing you'll see on the chart is there's I guess a purple line down there below where the NQ is, and it says extended low. That's from our core indicator. And what we're essentially doing is we're crunching a bunch of data from part of yesterday's session, the overnight session, the first hour of the day, and that's when we put those lines there. So we know statistically that when it gets to that extended low, that's, as it says, it's pretty extended. So we typically tend to see a bounce there too. I mean, we are getting a decent little bounce off of this rubber band. If you're somebody who's trading prop firms and you maybe copy into 5 accounts, you only need 20 points on NQ. So, I mean, it could have just provided that for you if you were long that second rubber band.
Make sure you're taking profit here, folks, at the previous rubber band, 826, if you counter trended that one. And then you'll have to see if we can get back through first and second targets. I would use this. I would use this scenario here because we did achieve the entirety of that move that we projected out. So that one's done. So really pay close attention to this 896 here, folks. And then it's just getting more and more aggressive because we didn't ever get a real balance this morning, guys. But you can use the decision point here as the chasing entry, basically, still to get to the downside hurdle. And we do have a third scenario. It's interesting. NQ is giving all kinds of info, but ES is lacking. 689 would be the next target. $491. So we're starting to get into some pretty deep retrace here. 491. And 293. And at this point, again, they can still bring it all the way back here to the 152. So don't discount their ability to come all the way back to the decision point. That is still an option.
We don't specifically call out Bitcoin around here, but we do talk about it a lot because it tends to respond to these same kind of price action things that George is calling. And George is very patient. Like he'll tell me for like 3 months in a row. We'll talk about it every other day. He's like, "Yep, it's Bitcoin's going down to 67, and I'm buying." And all of a sudden, there it goes, and it pops up 10,000. So it's just the
Yeah,
point
my
of that
next
is the price action is the price action. That's exactly what George is reading. He's been doing this for years. I've been trading with you at least I guess 2 years now.
2 years. Yeah.
Yeah, and like that rubber band on NQ right there, it just bounced for 40 points. It just
Yep.
amazes me sometimes how you
I,
you can
I
call
I took
those.
it. Did you take it?
I did not, just because I'm
What?
traveling. I got 3 different screens here. I'm
No,
trying
I'm
to monitor
kidding.
YouTube. I don't normally have to do all this. Normally, I just watch you and trade. So I'm
You're good.
I'm being disciplined.
Good job.
Hey, George, where should be my stop loss on the ES rubber band and where the POI was? Like, where should like the spike and there was a big wick there, and then the next candle opened large. So where you think the stop loss should be? Like where is the confirmation that rubber band won't hold?
The confirmation. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's usually based on the size of the move. So you can see the size of this move. It was only separated by what, about 4 points per target. Okay. So the only thing that was in the way was really expected low. So I would probably just be like 4 points under expected low. This is what I was saying this morning at the very start, is you got to give it to the expected low. So it was a spike basically right down there. So you'd have to like enter if you're trying about counter trending the rubber band, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you're trying to counter trend that, you got to be aware of the surroundings. So yeah, entering closer to expected low is ideal. Give that about a 4 point, because that's about the spread between your targets. So give about a 4 point spread, and then that's it. It either takes it or it doesn't.
In both the yesterday also both rubber bands didn't hold. I'm like, I don't know, I should stop trading rubber bands.
Well, yeah.
Like
So we
yesterday
cover this.
and
We cover this in
queuing.
the videos. We cover in the videos the ones that are short like this, very very low spread between targets. I don't recommend using them at all. Try as far as the counter trend. The ones that are spread out like this guy here on the NQ, for instance, you can see the difference. So 774 all the way back to 894, 896. There's there's a much greater chance of some level of retrace into this space. So are you trying to, I doubt anybody's actually trying to catch, 120 points, but the point is it's available. 120 points is there to be gained. Yeah, there we go. We might actually do it here.
I was gonna
It's
say
going.
it's trying, and on those
It's trying.
and on those short ones like over on that ES, I
Mhm.
normally give it 4 or 5 point stop. So George is always telling us if you do take the rubber band counter trend there, that middle target is really your first target, and for me,
Yep.
that's
Yep.
not even almost a 1-to-1 ratio. So
Right.
that's why I
Right.
kind of skip those, because the juice is not worth the squeeze, or however they
The
say
squeeze.
that.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah, you got to make sure you do the math on the first and don't just assume it because it's a rubber band. It still has to have some kind of a spread to it.
The decision down still holds on ES since it's not broken.
The bounce here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is does
it's
that
still the
still
most
hold to both?
aggressive. It's more of like a nominal entry. As a matter of fact, I was kind of watching price action here. I was about to post before you talked. There's a minor has to hold here, folks, at 75.3175. Yeah. When the thing starts sliding or we start bouncing and it's just going and going, those are the times just to be patient. If it goes without us, it goes without us. It often does not. And I just have to wait and be patient. And then, let's see here, 903 on the NQ. So we're still looking for the downside potential here because we have scenarios still at play to the downside. Now remember, we've achieved targets on the NQ, so please don't forget that. We just totally closed off 2 series in a row pretty quickly. So everything that's down here, it's all chasing anymore. If that's all the day gives us, so be it. But just know that if chasing entry that's not in your trade plan, please don't do it. 946 is the miner has to hold on the NQ.
And since we have a miner has to hold on both sides, can you kind of explain to the YouTube people, like, you're waiting on the market to tell you something there, and just kind of explain what it is?
I want the market to come up here, and this would be an opportunity to short it. So I posted ahead of time so that we can all just sit back, relax, and watch. And as it approaches it, then you can attempt the entry
now, right? George is really good about waiting on a great price. I'm not so patient sometimes. I kind of chase a little bit more than I should, but George is excellent at waiting on the NQ to come back, 75 points and then take the short. So when he gets in, he's usually way ahead of me.
Just time and experience, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah, when you think it's not going to pull back, that's when it pulls back.
There's a famous trader somewhere, and he always said, where you think your stop loss should be on a short, go ahead and wait to enter till there. And I swear to God, it works out so much better.
Yep. Move your entry to where your stop is.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Well, while we're waiting on the scenario to play out here, we do have a free trial to the room. So if you're one of the people that's on YouTube watching, sign up for a free trial. One of the things that I really don't think anybody else also offers is literally, if you have the time, George will sit down with you for an hour one-on-one, and he'll kind of go through what it is we do, query you a little bit, kind of see what your trading style and experience is. And like I said, I don't know anybody else who's offering, a one-on-one session for free as part of our trial. So no risk to you. Just, come and sign up and sit down with George.
Yeah, we want to make sure that, 1, you understand the terminology. 2, you have a trade plan around the terminology. Don't try to make up your own stuff. Just work with what the market's giving us.
And we have a question on YouTube. Is there a recommended stop loss amount if you play that miner has to hold there?
ES or NQ?
They didn't say, and we have one on each. So.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, ES, it's usually 3-4 points max. NQ, that's a hard one to answer. If you regularly trade the NQ, you know how hard of a question that is to answer. That thing can spike 15, 20, and it's all about it recovering. So what I like to do on has to holds in the NQ more than anything is just watch the level initially.
That's what I was just going to say.
Maybe not step out in front of it. Yep. Yeah. Don't step out in front of the NQ. Let it do it. If it spikes to here to the previous expected low and then gets back below and then closes, I want the retest. Wait for the retest of the miner has to hold. That's an excellent opportunity to show that, 1, it tried it, couldn't establish above it, got back below it, and it did it within a short window of time.
And that's the cool thing about, not calling specific trades. We're not looking for, I don't mean to insult anybody if you're in the crowd today, but we're not looking for brand new 22-year-old traders that are chasing Lamborghinis and just want to be told, hey, take the trade here. But the cool thing about this is you can apply your own trading style and your own trading plan. So for me, what George is talking about over there, that miner has to hold, there's 2 ways to enter that trade. One would be a limit short. So if it comes up and taps it, you're in. I don't personally play those that way on the NQ. I will wait on the price to get above the bar, and then I'll put a stop order underneath. So then if it punches back through to go down, then I'm in the trade going short. And the cool thing is that both of those entries, that those trading plans work with the levels that we have.
Yep. It's all about it's not, I don't know, is it comfort? I'm not sure if that's the right word I'm looking for, but everybody knows themselves better than I know you. You know what things will absolutely frustrate you to no end. So create a trading plan that tailors to the things that you need to see. And then, don't wait too long so that it kind of does the move and then goes without you. Boom. There we go.
There we go.
Nailed it.
There's another target there.
Nailed it. All right. 120 points. Thank you very much.
And what George is speaking of is if you took that long at that rubber band there in the middle, it's
down here.
Yeah, it's made it back to that middle target there, which is where
Yep.
he's
Which
always
is what we
screaming,
target.
Take some money off, because that's, I mean, come on, guys. That's over a 100-point move in the NQ on a relatively quiet, Friday. It's not going crazy on the wicks or anything.
Nope. That was great. Very little heat too. Like not much. About what, 12 points below? Not bad. Not bad. All right, miner has to hold coming up on the ES before the NQ, so careful. NQ may not get there. So a more nominal approach would be, it's the same as before, guys. You all know this, but this will be your nominal approach to still go short.
There's going to be another opportunity if you're on YouTube that it will be a free thing. George does training on Monday nights, usually around 7:45 in our Discord. So again, you don't have to be a paying room member to be part of those training sessions. So if you're in our Discord, which is free, there's a link below. Come over and you can do that. But George is actually going to take a well-deserved vacation towards the end of the month. So Monday the 22nd in the evening, I'm going to do a market replay. So I'm going to pick a couple of days in the market and basically just, fast forward through maybe 2 or 3 trading days, so you can see how I apply the levels that George gives me and to my trading style. So again, that's June 22nd. I might as well stream that here to YouTube. That's probably a good idea. So
cool. Yeah.
Okay, we're coming up to that miner has to hold on ES, so we're trying to see what it's going to tell us.
I think we just tagged it. Yep. Just tagged it.
George, one more thing. So should we take profit at the decision point, or
yes.
if we got finished?
Yes. Yeah, because it has to prove itself back out below this decision point. The fact that it didn't go from decision point to hurdle is fine initially. But yes, now that we're back above it, it has to reprove itself out back below it again. So yes, if you're in at the miner has to hold, you absolutely have to take profit here. And then you can hold some and see if we can re-break. All right, NQ's getting there. Well, most of the miner has to hold. There you go. And same deal here. Be sure on the NQ if you got in. We're back inside the same series of targets. So you'd still want to take profit at the 896, at least initially. Go, baby, go. Candy from a baby. Just a little retest. So just in the here and now, folks, that's exactly what we're talking about. Having patience, calling stuff out 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes in advance, and patient. All right, take the profit here and be sure as we reapproach the decision point. Boom. Thank you very much. And let's see if we can re-break it. If not, so be it. All right, the hint here on the ES here, folks, is to get back below 75.19. So basically low mid 2. If we can get below low mid 2, that would be your next logical profit taking. But if we can get below that, then we do have targets to.
And if you took that
Put it out
short
there.
that the miner has to hold right there, you know, you're already taking one off of the decision point. So, I mean, like
Correct.
George just said, that it's like taking candy from a baby, guys. I mean,
Here we go. 75.14 will be the first official first target. Be sure you're taking some off officially at 75.14. I've got my limit order already set. And when I say 14, I know there's a lot of new people here. I give the actual number the market is providing. Your job is to get out before that number, not at that number. Do not hold for the last possible tick. Get out at like 75.15. Okay, so they're retargeting the same bottom.
and my personal trading plan, you know, when I take one off here at the decision point, I just move the others to break even. Sometimes I don't even watch the screen anymore just because if I watch too much, it just drives me crazy.
97.5 is the rubber band. So that's putting us right up against our big deal hurdle, folks.
It's amazing how all those things tend to line up because, again, it's
I like it when it does. It's really nice.
just George just reading the price action. He's not, you know.
Yeah, it's not magic. Well, somewhat magical, but
I wish I could do it.
well, only takes about 10 years. It's not a big deal.
There you go. There you go.
You can make that work. I was talking to one of the guys last night. We were doing a little one-on-one session. And I was like, look on the bright side. I just shaved 10 years off your trading. And you don't have to stress over what price action is doing. You just have to watch the screen. All right. So again, for those that are new here, NQ is a little bit muddled because we're inside targets. The miner has to hold is holding beautifully. You're still targeting the same targets for profit taking initially. This one's possible, but there's a lot that they have to get through. So when they do this, is what it is. But you still got to take profit according to the previous scenario until they can prove out that they can get through all of it again.
And on NQ, that miner has to hold. You're already looking at 70 points of profit. So, I mean,
right.
If you can't make that work, guys, I'm not sure what to do.
I'm up a lot. All right, 812. Be sure you're taking off at 812. And you can use the rubber band here at the 826 is the more conservative. But 812, be sure you're taking some profit here. And again, we're referring to those who entered from the miner has to hold. It's the same kind of thing as the 75.14 coming up here on the ES. You have to take profit here. You don't take it all off, but you got to take some off. Go, baby, go. Well, that's a shoe in. All right, cool. $702 is another rubber band here, folks, on the NQ. So that'll be a little more info for us. Well, we were hoping for an exciting day. I think we got it, Bob.
Yeah, I was a little nervous there at 9:30, but it did start moving.
Okay, so be aware, rubber band on the NQ just slightly above first target of the next series.
And we're hitting first target on the ES over there.
Yep. Oh, yeah, mine already went out. Nice. God, I love it when the miner has to hold. It's beautiful. Beautiful.
You know, and we're all about honesty and full disclosure here. On the NQ, I did not take that short because, like I told you before, I like to let it go through and kind of prove itself. So for me, I would miss that trade, and that's absolutely fine.
All right, and we've got another one, 568, 569, 569, we'll round up. Here's another rubber band. Boy, they're just tossing them out like candy today. And you can see why we take profit right there at the 812. It's crucial because they've got to get through there. Whether they do or not is not up to me, but they do have to do it. Same with the 7514. They are clearly struggling to get through it. So that's why we take profit there. And then we wait. Because if you're entered, it's the whole philosophy of buy low, sell high. It's not a new concept. But if I sold up here at the miner has to hold, I gave it a few points of, range, fine, held perfectly fine. I'm still entered from up here. I've just taken off some contracts here. And my next ones will come off here. And my next one will come off here. So I don't really care at this point. I'm already, 15 points in the positive on the ES. So if it rips back to the direction and takes me out, the rest of my contracts, so be it. It's the only way I've ever figured out how to actually stay for both the short term and the long term.
And that's the beauty of the micros. I mean, before those came around, it was really hard to take these partials, but.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I actually can't.
Yeah, that was like how I started. I started in 2010 and there was no micros.
Right.
There was no prop firm. There was not I'm still trying to figure out the prop firm thing. Like what really works best, because it's more of a gamified system than it is, in my opinion, real trading.
Yeah. Michael on YouTube is asking how you determine the miner has to hold level.
I don't. The market does.
And I don't think George is trying to be funny there. He's basically just saying that he's watching what the market has done and reading that price action and saying in his years of experience that if the market can pull back here, it's likely to maybe hold there. So that's what he puts on the chart for us. And as you can see, this one worked out beautifully. 100 points on the NQ, 20 plus points on the ES.
Yep, I'm up 120 already. 115 on the NQ. I don't often take it in both directions, but it just worked out this way this morning. I got out, so I took the rubber band long on the NQ back to second target and then exited all my contracts. And then after it proved ahead of miner has to hold, I got in again. And I've exited, of course, at the 812, as I had stated. And now I'm just holding. We'll see. What was that guy's name? He was, it's Key and Peele. I think it's Michael Keegan. He did the Obama like he was like Obama's. What was the deal? He was like his speech guy.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that skit?
No.
Like Obama wanted to say something, and then he'd step in and like say it in a very demanding way. I feel like you're that with me, or I'm the opposite. You're the more calm, like this is what we're talking about. Me, I'm just like, it just is, man. Get over it.
Yeah, it's funny because when we first started doing this, I would text George. I'm like, man, that guy just asked a simple question. You're being kind of harsh on me. He's like, well, it's as simple as it is. I'm like, that's fine, but
Like, yeah, like, soften up, man.
it's tough love.
Be
It's
cool.
tough love. We have another question from the same person, Michael. I believe he uses our core levels, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, he says he's talking about how you're determining the has to hold level again. He says, is it 50% retracement from an initial move or something more complex?
Oh, it's far more complex. I wish there was some easy way to explain it. There's just not. It I've explained it to a lot of people in the past as like it's watching price action for 15 years and learning how to read the matrix.
And
a lot of it, 70% of it's probably like just hard data, 75%, and then 25% the reality. Like, I've seen this play before.
right. And just to back up what George is saying, I built everything you see in Blue Wave, so I'm pretty decent coder, and I have sat down with him for hours and tried to figure out like kind of just to help him, because he goes through an hour to an hour and a half of prep in the morning with his friend Keith, finding these levels. And I was like, man, I got to help you out. There's got to be a way to look at the chart and automate some of this. And I got about an 80% solution, but a lot of it is just intuition. It's market experience. So, I mean, that's really what it is. And that's the whole reason to come join us, take advantage of all the hard hours and hundreds of hours that George has put in with the charts.
All right, same thing with the decision point here, folks. I would even extend it a little bit, maybe go to about 27, 75, 27. It's still going to be a nominal attempt. So not chasing, but still nominal. We're obviously the has to hold is holding, so we are still looking for shorts. But 27 would now be your more nominal approach. They still can go back to the minor has to hold, so please don't ignore that. It's still an option for them. In Q, I think we talked about it on the way up. It's still the same 903. It's the same line I've got there, the second target from the previous move. It also is still the nominal short. And remember, everything we're doing down here is still chasing because the market's already made the majority of the move from the Globex session.
I was just going to say that. Like if you pull back a little bit and you look at this chart, like we're pretty down, pretty far below. So when it's ready to go back up, it might snap. So that's why you got to keep those stops closed.
This is why I'm waiting for pullbacks.
Right.
Always waiting for pullbacks because at least you have something, right? Like you've got some slightly better entry than just simply, selling way down here at the bottom. So,
and folks, you'll see there at 10:30, the core levels. They're the expected low down there on the ES. Everything is basically recalculated at 10:30. It takes into account everything that happened in the first hour of trading. So it's kind of weird, but that expected low just happens to line up right with that rubber band. So if I'm short, I'm looking to not go too much further than that. I'm not going to be very greedy at all.
All right. If we break, the miner has to hold this time, and you got to give it the space that it created last time. So really to the top, right around 75.33. If we end up re-breaking that, then they're going to encounter a hurdle here at 39.75, which is in line with the previous scenario, right at the rubber band. Isn't that so surprising?
So, Josh, does the trend matter if you see it's definitely uptrending now? So it's better to hold off on the short trades at miner has to hold, or no, the trend don't matter.
It really depends on the major breaks. And right now, all the major breaks have occurred to the downside. So they've broken through all rubber bands. They've broken through, significant points of interest, decision points, etc. Yeah, so you've got the macro and the micro, right? The macro, just look at this morning. We are clearly going down on the macro. In the micro, you're right. Obviously, we are trending up a little bit, but there's still stuff they got to get through on the top side that we haven't yet.
The thing I love about George is 9:30 to 11. That's kind of the sweet spot. 90 minutes a day. It's really not crazy. And today, I mean, I'll admit, I think we got a couple more trades than we normally do. We got one in each direction at least, which doesn't always happen.
Mm-hmm.
But most people in the room should have been able to pull out a couple 100 points on NQ and probably 40 on ES. So.
Yeah, and again, don't if you're new and you're just here on YouTube, like I don't expect anything at all of you. Your job is just to say, like, again, in advance, did we give a level and did it hold or did it get there? And then if you see that, I would say, what, for 2 weeks in a row? I would imagine you'd be pretty convinced at that point.
Yep. And Michael on YouTube says Keith is such a great coach. Yeah, that can't be understated. Keith and his family spent about 10 days with me here. He came over from Europe, and not only is he a good mind, a great coach, but he's just an awesome dude. I gotta
Mm-hmm.
say, him and George. I met them 2.5 years ago, and they both certainly changed my trading for the better. So.
Yeah, thanks. I'll let him know in a couple weeks when we're hanging out on the beach. So you can see these interim periods here, folks, where it's pretty obvious that like, there's nothing to do until the market gets back to certain key levels. So it doesn't have to be like an anxious thing. You wait. If it gets there, it gets there. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And when it gets there, it's your job now to have had a trade plan surrounding that key level. How do you enter and or exit the trade you're in or the trade you're thinking about getting in? But we all use the same stuff. It's all the same info.
Somebody was asking about the microphone volume earlier, and I thought they were talking about you, George, but my brother just came out because I'm at his house in Ohio, and he said, by the way, it's hard to hear you, but George sounds great. So I apologize if my microphone was super low. But in case anybody just missed it, that ES hit that miner has to hold to the tick again and went right back to the decision point. So there is an absolute another trade that you could have taken on ES.
I took that one too. Just keep them coming. I'm just waiting for it to see if it can break through this decision point, like officially. I mean, we already made it to first target, so what are you gonna do? You have to just wait. Be lovely to see this thing close back below the decision point again. Be a little added confirmation. And it's the same 75-14, folks. You got to take profit. I know it's one of those repeating things, but you have to take profit again because it's the same theory, just it repeats itself. And if you know where the levels are, then you know where to re-engage, which is awesome. Yeah, anything you want to add to that, Bob? I ran out of context.
No, I mean, it's just beautiful. I mean, I hit that sucker to the tick and 20 points.
Yep. Just let it ride.
At this
See if
point,
we can get down there.
George usually is trying to, map out what he sees for the rest of the day, and he, if there's some levels, he'll leave them on the chart for us. We leave the chart up all day, so even if you don't have chart cast yet, you'll be able to see the levels on the chart. And a lot of times, like that rubber band down below, sometimes we'll come back when we do our daily recap, and it waited till 2 o'clock, but man, it bounced at that rubber band at 2 o'clock for 150 points. The levels are the levels, and they're pretty valid throughout the day.
Yeah, price is price. That's kind of the best way I try to describe it to people. Time is irrelevant. The market could care less about time. When it does it quickly or it does it slowly, that's just different markets that you're dealing with. But price is price. All right. You can forget this one, the 702 on the NQ. I'll take that off. They did away with that guy, which is fine. It was basically right at first target of the next scenario anyway, so it didn't really hold a lot of weight.
Another comment on YouTube says, pretty crazy so far. I've been watching your videos, but seeing it in real time is different. Yeah, it's we try not to those daily recaps, we try not to go more than 10 minutes because, we know people don't usually watch them past about 3 or 4 minutes. But it's hard to compress all of this into, a little 10-minute video. So we try our best.
Yep.
But we appreciate you watching the recaps. But yeah, seeing it live, it's one of those things I was like, hey, let's try just doing an open house, There's always the risk that market doesn't do anything or
Right.
But today, geez, I probably could make a couple YouTube shorts out of the 4 or 5 different trades it just handed us. So, yeah, thanks for being with us.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure, I wait for the market recap every day. That's one thing by heart I do every day.
Yeah. You should too, because
and yesterday
it
was
helps
not
reinforce stuff. Yeah.
Yesterday it was not there because yesterday I was stopped on both rubber bands, so I was curious what will George say. So I think you guys didn't get time yesterday, but yeah, it's really good, the recap.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, because if I look at some of the stuff, I just take my own ES chart and I scrunch back, right? And we look at the same. It's the same stuff. Everything's on repeat. The whole market is on repeat all the time. They're on macro moves or micro moves on repeat. But if I even go back to yesterday's ES, like there's a minor has to hold right there that we had laid out, and where the market spiked to, right to the minor has to hold, and shot up from there. So it's stuff like that. It helps reinforce, what am I looking for as a trader as high probability entries and exits? And if you stay on top of the videos, it's you're like, oh yeah, he did say that at such and such a time of the day, and you just have to get over the emotional side sometimes and realize that maybe you were in a trade, maybe you're looking to get into a trade. So they're good to do.
Another unique feature of our room is, it's a relatively small community. We have people that have been in the room for 2 years. I mean, that's unheard of in the trading space. Usually you get people in for maybe 90 days and they're gone. So I think that's a feather in George's cap. But also, we have an open mic. You don't have to request to speak or anything like that. Obviously, we don't want people, jamming the microphone at 9:30 in the heat of the battle. But, everybody's very respectful and they understand kind of when to ask the questions. And, yeah, your teacher always taught you in school, if you have a question, ask it, because 10 other people in the room probably have the same question. And that is really true. So we appreciate when people mic up and, talk to us.
Yeah, everybody seems to have the same questions.
And George's Monday evening training, he doesn't go in with an agenda at all. And usually it's 3 or 4 really good user questions that just turn into an hour and a half of awesome training. So come join us for those too.
Yeah, because the thing we want to focus on is exactly what we lay out, which is market fundamentals and price action. And it's cool to see this, but if you're new at all and you're sitting there going, well, that's fine, but how do you enter? How do you exit? And it's like, yeah, that's the fundamental question. And that's what gets answered, I think, best in the training sessions.
And I have this.
Yeah, like I'm probably just going to hold this thing and just leave for the day. And if it gets down there, it gets down there. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
I'll say, if I know George, he's got targets sitting at all these bubbles, and at 11-ish, he'll wrap it up and he'll go do some other things and come back and go, hey, yeah, what happened?
If it got there, it got there. If it didn't, it didn't. Like, I can't control it. None of us have any control over the market, folks. I know I said it earlier, but 8-12, same thing on the NQ. It's still a struggle point, so you still got to take profit here. Still coming off of the minor has to hold, hasn't changed.
That's actually a good reminder. I should put a trading disclaimer up. As you guys will see, we don't actually put longs and shorts and targets and everything on the screen. Obviously, we talk about them, and if you've been in the room for a while, you know probably exactly where George is going to take his trade. But trading is hard, and anything that we're showing here today, tomorrow could be a good day, tomorrow could be a bad day. So just want to make sure everybody understands that, we got to put that disclaimer out there for a reason. If you're a new trader, just observe what we're doing. Don't be clicking buy and sell with us yet. So.
Yeah. So because we aren't like screaming to the downside here, folks, and they're not like pushing through these major targets that are already set out, you got to remember that we can still get a bounce. The hurdle up here on the ES is still valid. Slightly more aggressive would be, of course, the previous expected low. So look at this more as a range as opposed to a set number. Right. And we did shift here on the NQ, the rubber band, kind of the lonely rubber band sitting out here. It's actually now at 649. Where's 649? 649. I'm sorry. 639. 639. There we go. I messed it all up. There we go. Okay. So if just a thought thing for folks, when the market lays this stuff out, the targets, of course, are where the market's projecting. And that's where they're saying that we're trying to get to. Okay. If this lines up and that lines up and they can get to the hurdle and they can get through the decision point and so forth, the intention, right? That's really the best way of thinking about it, is that their intention is to get to these bubbles. Secondarily, the bubbles are also telling a second story, which is this is also as far as the market is likely to go, because the targets have been achieved. It's just like any other goal in life. I'm got my list together in the morning. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. And once I've done them all, I'm going to go take a nap, right? That's the same theory. But the really interesting thing about the market is that the targets are always in threes, by the way, which makes it, interesting. 33% chance it could stop here, here, or here. Well, if it's a 33% chance it could stop at any one of these levels, which one is basically at the very end of that series? It's the green one. It's the rubber band. So that's really the best way to look at some of these things too, is that you checked all the boxes. Okay, you've done the whole list. Now it's time to take a break. Up until that point, you're not gambling so much because they are pretty solid, mathematical calculations in the market. But it's a bit more risky, let's say, to have the market achieve. Let's just look at the NQ for a minute. To have the market, achieve this second target down here, and then your thought process is, I'm going to take it the opposite. It's a bit risky. Could you be right? Sure. Why? Because the market had a target, a goal, and it got there. Me, the way I'm coaching it in the room, is I would prefer that we take our positions to go toward those targets up until they get to those rubber bands. And then you look at the confluency of what's around you. And if there are other heavily weighted items that are, sitting in those spaces, then yeah, there's certainly possibility of getting a pullback, retrace, whatever you want to call it. Man, they just like turned the market off, didn't they?
Friday afternoon, man.
Crazy.
Another question. Do you do anything with level 2 data at all? Watching for liquidity pockets or anything like that?
Nope. I do not. I have no indicators. The only thing that's even up on my screen are what Bob was referencing before, which is the core levels. And I came in contact with those 5 years ago. And what I have found is that the way that the core is calculated, it lined up really well with the way that I understand price action. So that's the only indicator I keep because of how well it lines up. I mean, if I look at this, thinking back earlier this morning, we had this target posted right here on the NQ, right around 690. The expected low at the start of the morning was way up here, up at 969. And you can see the 1030 shift and it shoots way down. And shockingly, surprise, surprise, it's within just points of what I already knew, 2 hours ago. So it helps kind of line people, and it gives, the way I look at the core too is that it's generally the more conservative or the more aggressive to an in or an out. So let's say that, there was look at the ES. This is a perfect example. The rubber, well, I guess not perfect because the rubber band and the expected low line up identical to each other. Now, they didn't, right? The same thing. It was up here at 37.25 and it shot down to 97.5, which again, we already had rubber bands sitting down there. We knew that.
There's actually a couple other indicators that George has on the screen. One is a Globex level, so the 3 o'clock bar, the 8:30, the 9:30. Those are things that he definitely watches for. So these just kind of make them visible on your chart. And also you'll notice that the bar colors are blue and red. That's actually our precision trend indicator. So there's a volatility calculation that's going on behind the scenes. So when a bar turns red, that's usually another confirmation that we're probably going short. So there's a couple other indicators on there that are just more subtle.
It's where they just fall in the background anymore. I don't even see them. That's
right,
funny.
Right, you're
Thanks.
just used to them there. Yeah.
I'm just, but yeah, like it is important to know. Obviously, Bob said like where was the 8:30, 3 a.m. and 9:30 openings. That's the red, yellow, and I guess those are technically indicators. Yep.
Yeah, but to George's point, he's not watching like a 9 SMA versus a 20 SMA or anything like that. Those are kind of lagging. He's really just a pure price action guy. So I think that's kind of the point he was trying to make.
Yeah, I think I said it in a video once. Like I encourage people because sometimes you just need that little extra something as an individual trader. I encourage people like try everything. Have this up, have your chart cast running so that the projections are there. And then, I don't know, I'm not sure exactly what, but you can watch many things. And if you find that thing that comes into correlation at a high percentage, timing with everything else we talk about, then yeah, please use it. I know that, BWT has stuff that same thing. Like you just have to align it with really what is price action? What's it supposed to be doing? And I personally try stuff in the background all the time because I'm curious. I'm always trying to learn. Somebody says, oh, you should try this thing. All right, cool. And how often, percentage wise, does it align with the things that we're already talking about? If it's really low, I'm just not going to bring it up with folks and I'll just discard it. But I'm sure I've come up with a thing that's like, oh, that's pretty accurate about 60% of the time.
Before we wrap it up here, one of the things, George, if you hit the F key on your ES chart and just scroll back, you're going to see, if you have ChartCast, you can literally go back and say, okay, I'm going to go back, 20 days ago, and I want to see what the heck George was drawing on the chart. And you can see for yourself. I mean, it's just, if it wasn't pretty darn accurate, I wouldn't be pointing this out to people because, the secret sauce is there and it proves itself. So you can literally scroll back on the chart and start being amazed at how many times it comes to a rubber band and it stops on a dime. So it's pretty good stuff.
What were you saying about an F key?
Oh, in the very upper right-hand side of that chart, there's a really small F. It's above.
The fix, yeah.
It's just the focus, just so the bars don't
Uh-huh.
disappear. And then if you start scrolling left,
I see what you're saying.
yeah,
Okay.
you guys will see like it's
There
just
you go. We can go back.
all the data's
Let's
there.
go, I don't know.
And
Let's
I
go
want to
back
say,
to
I think we have like the last 4 contract cycles. So, we all have to kind of move to the next contract together because, as you know, price is usually somewhere between 30 and 40 points different. But
there you go. I randomly pulled back all the way to the 22nd.
yeah, look at that decision point down there. I mean, but bow, it just hit that
Yep,
long at
all the way.
74.70 and went up 60, 70 points and got to that first target.
Look at, yeah, right. Even this one, the miner has to hold.
Yeah.
Ding, all the way to targets. Target. Yep. Yeah, I mean, you can do this all day. Just randomly pull back to something. There you go. Hurdle zone. We laid it out. Here's the zone. Market needs to stay inside here if it's going to reach targets. Holy cow. Perfect. Target.
George leaves at 11, but sometimes later in the day, look at that. I mean, just straight to that rubber band, to the tick, actually, that first little
Oh,
weight there.
I remember this. We were doing a video on this, you and I. We were talking about how this one was comical because, it happened at 1:30 in the afternoon. But if you took the counter trend off the rubber band, you achieved. So for anybody who doesn't understand this, the rubber band, as we said, is the end of that series. So it becomes a good probability that it's going to get a retrace. How far exactly is what we're targeting. Is we just target 2 and target 1. Well, look at that. In a single 5-minute candle, it went rubber band all the way through both. In an instant. So that's 53. So that was 13 points in like no time at all. Just whoosh. And then it got all the way up to our decision point that we'd labeled way back. I forget when I even labeled this thing. I labeled this thing like middle of the night, 4 o'clock in the morning. I labeled that thing. Time doesn't matter to the market. Bam, hit it, tanked. So price is king. Trying to see if there's anything else to discuss here.
Last potential long is just the big deal hurdle, the rubber band on ES.
Yes. So you would have to, here's how you view that. You view this space right here. So it's kind of all congested, right? You got big deal hurdle, expected low, and rubber band all within like a point of each other. So the way you view it, it's still a rubber band. So here you go again. Is the juice worth the squeeze? So from 97 back to 505. That's how you have to view it, as like, what's the first potential target if I try to counter trend that? So is it worth it to take a 7-point trade? You have to answer that for yourself. Okay. And then can I hold some? If it gets past that, can I get to the next target back at 14? Well, now it's a 14-point trade. That actually sounds a lot better, but there's no guarantee, right? But that's how you have to see the market. And then lastly, you would absolutely have to take off when it gets back to the decision point, because it's the decision point. It's already gone up. It's committed to going up twice above it, but now closing back below it. So yes, if I'm thinking ahead, right, I'm trying to like project out into the future, is that if it gets here, what has to happen next? Well, what has to happen next is either A, they're going to rip through this and it's just going to just tear to the downside. Okay. So you got to be prepared for it. Because it's 2 things. It's actually 3 things. It's, again, expected low, rubber band, and big deal hurdle. So you got to be prepared, which this is a prime opportunity to do like a buy stop. Prime. That way you're not on the wrong side in the event that it does just like tear through it. But then going forward, you have to realize, well, what did it take to get here? And if it does reverse, what is the next target? And then can I hold some? If it gets past that, can I get to the next target back at 14? Well, now it's a 14-point trade. That actually sounds a lot better, but there's no guarantee, right? But that's how you have to see the market. And then lastly, you would have to realize, well, what did it take to get here? And if it does reverse, they got to get back through target, and decision point all over again. So those are now the inverse. They become your targets. Make sense?
And I've seen these rubber bands play out so much, and my confidence has been built. I literally would have no problem putting a limit order down there because it's aligned with that big deal hurdle and the expected low. I'm just going to give it 4 points of wiggle room. And when I come back later today, if it's a loser, oh well, it's a loser. That's absolutely fine. But if that wins at target 2 and the target 1 and decision point, that's 3-1. That's a pretty good risk to reward. So I'm okay with that trade. It's just, I'm getting better.
It's all how you frame it. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm getting better at realizing when I put on the trade, I'm just assuming that 4 points is gone. Like the market took it because it just took it. It's fine, and I'm getting much more used to that.
Or you could do the other theory, and you could put your entry 4 points down.
Right, and then come back and it misses me. That's okay. But
yeah.
Again,
exactly.
If you took that minor has to hold short, we're back at target 1. So you're scaling out a little bit more. And
same 75-14 where you just haven't gotten through it yet.
Now that one did take an hour. I'll give you that. It is Friday, but it literally hits target again from the minor has to hold short.
And where are we here on the NQ, folks? Back at the rubber band. That's what I was saying before. Like, you just have to replay out the exact same targets all over again as if it's the first time down. Because the only way that changes is if they just tear through the targets and just carry on. Is if they don't, and they do this, and they kind of start to consolidate a bit, then you just treat it as if it's the first time going back to those targets initially. So it is what it is until it isn't. If it doesn't get through here, it doesn't get through here. I don't have a crystal ball. Yeah, even the retest of the nominal was great on the ES. And for anybody who doesn't understand that, is that you can try your best to, only engage maybe once, but will it be the winner? Like, there's just so many different ways of viewing it. Like, if I looked at the ES here, the spread between the nominal entry to go short, here's our red arrow, right, is at 24.75. The minor has to hold at 31. Okay. There's traders who don't care. They'll give that whole space to be their stop loss. That's fine for them. Others are like, nope, I would like to have like a 3-point stop loss. Well, then you have to enter closer to the end of that run, which in this case was the minor has to hold. Yeah, just how you frame it. It's all the same price. It's just how you as a trader are comfortable with drawdown and like markets like this. These are painful. We're not going anywhere, not quickly. I was hoping the NQ would at least get to first target before I left. It's looking real good. I cannot imagine they don't get there today. That would be shocking. I'm gonna stick around for a little bit longer. See if we can get there.
I'm gonna drop a couple links in the chat there in YouTube. There's a link to the 7-day free trial. And I'm going to do it again because that's the actual link. The other one was an old one. Sorry about that.
Don't click on that.
That was from January. I was sorted wrong. And Discord, we got, I think, 400 plus people in there. And that's pretty much where we live. George and I, monitor that all the time. And that's where, people can ask questions. So come over there. It's free to join the Discord server. And then the last link I'm going to post is probably the most important one. We had a lot of people asking us, well, what the heck does the has to hold mean? What's this rubber band thing you speak of? So George and I spent some time, and we made a series of videos that are absolutely free, and you can go over there, you can watch them, and it'll tell you all about all the terminology that George uses as he's reading the price action here in the market. I know you're just waiting on it to hit that target so you can go, George.
I am. That's exact. It's going to bounce though first. It's not going to just go straight there. They're going to be little putzes. I can just see it. They're going to bring it back to this rubber band here. Well, at least the 812 that they were struggling with, that's what I'm expecting. They bounce it back to 812 and then they'll take it.
ES is getting close to that second target.
We're almost there.
Yeah, it's not quite hitting low a day. It's getting close. I know the screens are a little hard to see, but that short at the minor has to hold was around 530. So if it hits this second target, you're talking 20, 22 points on the ES. That's some pretty good bread, as the kids say.
I'm still in it, holding, almost cut. One more tick, that'll take me out for some more.
Well, this is definitely one of those days I wish I was trading instead of producing the YouTube on this side here, because it's been quite an amazing day, honestly. Good deal.
Been good. All right, here goes our NQ bounce. See if we stop at the. Yeah, they can use the rubber band here, folks, as the most aggressive. This is all wildly chasing at this point. All of this because we're below so much. But yeah, they can use the rubber band to stop at and still take it to first target. They can also bring it all the way back to the 812, even the previous rubber band. So this is what makes trying to trade at these times of days a little more just difficult. This is why I like it when they give us things like a minor has to hold. It just makes it so much cleaner and nicer because I know that I'm going from here to previous targets and of course future targets. It just makes for me at least, it makes the move so much simpler.
We just need a little Trump tweet to get you to your target, right? Come on, man. Give us a tweet.
They're going to say, not who is it, Bassett, have him be like, oh, yeah, we're going to increase interest rates. Not Bassett. Who's the new guy? Walter Walker?
Yeah, I haven't heard him
Um,
speak yet. I need to pay
yeah, I haven't
attention.
either. Something with a W.
You know, one of the amazing observations that I made, I guess it was about 2 weeks ago. I was talking to George, and for me, the 8:30 news cycle used to be pretty chaotic, and then I started noticing that, yeah, it's a hell of a spike, but you know what? It just went right to that rubber band that George drew yesterday and bounced. So even though it was chaotic and really fast, and even those news events tend to respect these price action levels, which is pretty amazing. Not that I'm advocating that you put a limit order on a rubber band and go into 8:30
On the
news.
news. Yeah. No,
we,
don't do that.
we tend
Don't do
to
that.
we tend to warn people, hey guys, there's news. You might want to just get flat for a minute here. You can always get back in right after the news if you want. But
Yep. No, don't trade news. It's
yeah,
especially on the NQ. My goodness.
George
You'll
is
get
a
your
George is a cash account
whole
trader for the
paycheck.
most part. He started playing around with the props a little bit, but I have just for upfront visibility to people. I have about 30 funded accounts right now. I have 20 with Apex. You can trade the news there, so I don't have to necessarily watch. But I do have, I think, 4 50K accounts with Take Profit, and you cannot trade the news there. So that's why we tend to give people a little bit of warning. And then I have some accounts with Tradeify, and I have a Bullnox account too. So
Nice.
yeah,
Yeah, I've only got 6 PAs just because I was talking to you and I was like, yeah, sure. Pass some evals, have some PAs. I don't trade them that often. It's kind of funny. I traded one this morning. Yeah, I did. I traded one this morning. Yeah, early pre-market. I don't know. Just the rules. I was telling somebody yesterday, I was like, I'm still trying to figure out how to best do it with the rules because I'm just so used to being. It's like it's cash account. You can do whatever you want. You want a dollar cost average because you see a zone. Great, do it. They don't like that. They get a little fussy about things like that.
or if you make too much in a day, all of a sudden you're not being consistent.
Right. Oh my gosh, that drives me nuts. I'm like, you're mad that I made money? Really? I'm sorry. My bad. There you go. That got me out. All right. One more to go. Boom. There we go. NQ, first target. Well, close enough. I did not try to take it to the target itself. I just got out of the expected low.
Okay, now you're just showing us.
Don't need to be greedy for all that.
So where was that minor has to hold on NQ? What was the level? Hard to see on the screen. Sorry.
It's at 946.
So 146 points, people. If that doesn't get your attention, we're not sure what will.
Fairly calm today. Like, you can't guarantee this stuff every day, like this type of movement, but fairly calm today. Oh, did it get my? No, it missed my. It missed my last ES exit. Oh, by 2 ticks. Really? Come on. I'll give it like 5 more minutes and I'll just close it if it doesn't get down there. Yeah, so as always, last thing to be really talked about, more so on the NQ than the ES. ES doesn't really have much else to say. Well, I guess there is. All right, well, caution. There's another rubber band down here at 85.75. All right, so that's still on the table. But for the rest of the day on the NQ, the thing really to watch is going to be this next rubber band at 39.639. See what type of reaction you get from it. Obviously, if it's a blow through, then we already have targets below that. But if we stall out there, they will have achieved first target of the major move for the day just prior. So yeah, if they hit this and then bounce back again, watch to see if we get back up into the core, basically. So yeah, be real careful in this range at this point.
Missed the rubber band by 2 ticks. That big deal hurdle.
What's the question?
No, I said I missed my rubber band by 2 ticks. The big.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah, same. 2 ticks.
Okay.
It's still on the table. Don't fret just yet. Yeah, they're still eyeballing it. Just give it a minute.
makes me feel better.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, they're
And
probably going to go. They're probably going to go at least to 92 realistically, but it's not a key level. But it should give you some pretty good confidence that we'll get here. I swear this sell-off is nothing more than finding liquidity for the upcoming IPOs. Like, man, we need to get out of some of these positions, pile into SpaceX.
I think I saw where it might have been Fidelity. Normally, to get into the IPO like that, you needed like a $100,000 account. They lowered it to 2K.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I might actually look into that a little bit
Whoa,
more.
whoa! I actually, now that you mentioned, I had heard something about that was part of the negotiations from the SpaceX board, was they wanted to make it more accessible. I remember reading that. I didn't know what the dollar amount was, but they just said more accessible. So close, Bob. Can you just like blow on it? Just be done. Of course, these are those moments that you look back and laugh later because it blows through these levels, goes further down than you thought it was going to go, and you were all anxious about this one last like tiny movement. Like, yeah, no, it's going to just keep sinking. Yeah, speaking of which, it's probably not for today. If it is, I expect a big pat on the back. There is a really big decision point to be made down here on the ES at 74.37, which is probably going to happen. Just not sure if it's for today or not. I could probably take a contract out and just let it run, see if it gets there.
Yeah. I was talking about taking this rubber band long if I had left today, but with another rubber band sitting right below it, that does lower my confidence.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you got this one at 85, and then shortens it up a bit, I know. Although we are getting close here on the NQ to the 639. That'll be a substantial rubber band. I'd watch timing wise and kind of see where NQ is landing in respect to the ES.
Now it's just messing with you.
It is. It's just like it won't let it go. I refuse to move my target. I know it's getting there. I went in and peeled one out. I'm going to stick one down here at 92 also. Boom. Oh, at least with that one. Oh my God. Jeez, you talk about just annoying. Just get to the target already.
Well,
all
folks.
Right. Yeah, watch this one at the 639 though. It's still got some steam in it here. Let's see if my 92 gets out. I put it at 92 half. It should get there, technically. That'll be what, 30, so about 29, so about 40 points. Yeah, 40 points if we can get to that 92. I'll take it. Go rubber band. Talking to the NQ now. Let's see, got here 494. Boom. 92.5. All right. Now I'm done. I'm finished. No more. Yeah, I know we had some questions intraday here. I didn't specifically ask, so because of that, I'm happy to stick around. Did anybody have anything?
I think we at least got all the YouTube questions, so if you could just cover the ones in Discord, we'll be good. The room will stay open for Discord, but at this point, we probably will go ahead and end the stream for the YouTube open house. We appreciate everybody that came in. Saw some pretty good numbers. People stuck around a really long time, so we hope you saw something that interested you. It's, George puts his money where his mouth is. He called it live on YouTube today, and, there's always a risk that things don't go well, but good job, man.
Thanks. Well, I mean, yeah, I appreciate the market behaving today, and just, it didn't really make it that complicated. It just sucked. You guys can see this too. I know the guys in the room are just used to it at this point, but I have a huge mantra, which is don't chase. Do not chase the market. If it goes without you, it goes without you. Don't chase the market. That's usually when it turns around and kicks you in the ass. So don't do that. If you watched what we did, yes, we were in a slide at the start of the morning, and I know there's that gut check, you just want to get in. Where are we? 920. Here's our 920 open, right? I get it, but this was great. This was perfectly fine. It went down, proved itself below major key levels that we're posting, and then gave us this absolutely phenomenal entry. And yes, it's not as good as if you just open your computer and click sell, but that's more gambling than it is actually watching price action and understanding the market dynamics. So that's, I guess, more than anything, that's what we do here, is just, you got to have patience sometimes. And if you do, I only had one entry on the ES all day. It was one short at the miner has to hold. I had two entries on the NQ because I did take it in reverse. I took it up from the rubber band, and then I also took it down from the miner has to hold. But that's been my whole day, 3 total entries across the entire day, yielding an absolutely phenomenal morning. I got no issues with that.
And for those of you that can't quite see the screen, that NQ is now down 300 points from where George took that short, and the miner has to hold.
Yeah, wish I'd have held on to that one.
Yeah,
that's okay. I was playing the ES. All right, you guys good? Anybody need any clarification?
So is the rubber if it crosses the rubber band ES, then it's better to exit the trade on ES, since we are long on
the one here at 85.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And it's all going to be about momentum, right? If it's just teetering like this and not doing much, then it's a lower likelihood that it's going to get through the 85, even if it touches it. It might wick it a little bit, but really watch the candle closure at 80. It's at 85. 85.75 is the actual number. Okay. So really watch that, even if it gets there. I knew it was going to get to 92. All right. Otherwise, yeah, this is what we were talking about earlier, is that if it gets into this range here, that's fine. Really pay attention to the previous series. If we climb back up into expected low, fine. You're just targeting the same 2 previous targets initially, and there's not much else to do after that.
Okay, we're going to say goodbye to the YouTube people. And
all right.
We'll see
Thanks, guys.
See y'all on Monday.